The wealthiest people you know aren't flexing on Instagram. They're quietly buying luxury every single month without touching their actual income. Here's how. You've been lied to. Hollywood taught you that rich people show off. But real wealth, the kind that lasts, looks nothing like what you see online. 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, yet still financing luxury cars, designer bags, and first-class flights they absolutely cannot afford. Meanwhile, the truly wealthy, the ones with real net worth, buy those same luxury goods using a completely different system. And it costs them almost nothing. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact 5-step framework the wealthy use to enjoy luxury, build assets, and never, ever look desperate doing it. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. Most Americans confuse looking wealthy with being wealthy. Those two things are not just different, they are opposites. Thomas Stanley proved this in his landmark book. The average millionaire drives a used car, lives in a modest home, and never buys retail. Ever. But here's the twist. These same quiet millionaires deal by luxury items. They just use a framework that makes luxury an asset, not a liability. Step 1 of the wealthy luxury framework is something called the consumption delay rule. And it alone separates the truly rich from the merely broke. The rule is brutally simple. Before buying any luxury item over $500, the wealthy wait exactly 90 days. No exceptions, no impulse, no emotion. Psychology research shows that 68% of luxury impulse buys are regretted within 30 days. That 90-day pause eliminates almost all of those costly emotional decisions. During that 90-day window, something powerful happens. Either the urge completely disappears, or it gets stronger. And if it gets stronger, you've found a real want. Warren Buffett famously said, "If you buy things you don't need, soon you'll have to sell things you do need." Let that sink in. Now, step 2 is where most financial channels get it completely wrong. The wealthy don't save up for luxury. They use something called productive capital first. Productive capital means money that is already working for you, in investments, dividends, or business income, before a single dollar touches any luxury purchase whatsoever. Here's a real example. Before buying a $10,000 Rolex, a wealthy person first deploys capital that generates at least that amount in passive income annually. In plain English, the luxury item is paid for by the investment's returns, not the core income. Your salary stays untouched, building more wealth underneath you. This one rule alone is why wealthy people never feel broke after a luxury purchase. The base keeps growing, while the returns cover the fun. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Step 3 reveals the one luxury category that wealthy buyers actually treat as a real, appreciating investment. Not all luxury is created equal. The wealthy specifically choose items that hold or grow in value, turning what looks like spending into something that quietly compounds. Take the Rolex Submariner. In 2010, it retailed for around $5,000. Today, that same watch sells used for over $12,000. That's real appreciation. The Hermes Birkin bag is even more extreme. It has outperformed the S&P 500 over the past 35 years, averaging around 14% annual returns. Contemporary art, rare sneakers, vintage wine, even limited edition Lego sets, the data is undeniable. Certain luxury goods are quietly eating Wall Street's lunch every decade. But wait, before you rush out and buy a Birkin, there's a brutal trap hidden inside this strategy that destroys most people who try it wrong. The trap is called speculative luxury buying. That's when you purchase a luxury item hoping it appreciates, without any research, data, or exit strategy behind it. The NFT crash of 2022 wiped out billions in so-called luxury digital assets. People bought in on hype, with no fundamentals, and lost almost everything overnight. So the rule is simple. Only by appreciating luxury in categories with at least a 20-year track record of consistent, documented, above-inflation value growth. Now we hit step 4, and this is the one that genuinely shocks people. The wealthy almost never pay full retail price for luxury goods. Never. There's an entire parallel economy for luxury goods that most Americans have never heard of. It's called the authenticated pre-owned market, and it's worth over $50 billion. Platforms like The RealReal, Vestiaire Collective, and Chrono24 allow buyers to purchase authenticated luxury items at 30 to 70% below standard retail market prices. A brand new Louis Vuitton Neverfull retails for around $2,000. Authenticated pre-owned, you can find it for $800. Same bag. Half the cost. And here's the beautiful irony. Many pre-owned luxury goods actually hold their resale value better than brand new ones, because the initial depreciation has already happened. Think about it like buying a used car. The second you drive a new car off the lot, it loses 11% of its value immediately. Luxury is identical. The wealthy let someone else absorb that first brutal depreciation hit, then they swoop in, buy authenticated, and preserve nearly all of their purchasing power. Smart. But there's one more layer to step 4 that almost nobody talks about. It's called the corporate expense strategy, and it is completely legal. Business owners and high earners can, in many cases, write off luxury purchases as legitimate business expenses, reducing their taxable income while still enjoying the items personally. A high-end camera for content creation, a luxury vehicle for client meetings, a premium watch for business presentations, all potentially deductible under the right business structure. Always consult a qualified CPA before doing this. But understand, the wealthy build teams of tax professionals specifically to find these advantages that most people never access. Now we arrive at step 5. The final and most psychologically powerful piece of the entire wealthy luxury framework. It's called the status decoupling mindset. Status decoupling means completely separating your self-worth from what you own. The wealthy buy luxury for personal enjoyment, not for external validation from people they barely know. Research from Princeton University found that beyond $75,000 in annual income, additional spending on material goods produces almost zero increase in daily emotional happiness. Yet the average American spends an extra $240 every single month on luxury goods purely to impress people around them. Every single month. That's $2,880 a year. Over 10 years, invested at 7% returns, that's over $40,000 completely lost to ego. The wealthy understand this math intimately. That's why they drive modest cars to the office, then quietly own beachfront properties nobody ever sees on social media. Morgan Housel wrote in The Psychology of Money that wealth is what you don't see. It's the cars not purchased, the diamonds not bought, the first class not flown. So now you have all 5 steps. But here's what separates people who understand this framework from the ones who actually execute it successfully long-term. Execution requires a personal luxury budget framework, a specific system that tells you exactly when, how much, and what type of luxury you are allowed to spend on. The framework used by most high-net-worth individuals is called the 5% luxury rule. And it is surprisingly simple once you see the actual math behind it. The rule states that no more than 5% of your total annual after-tax income should go toward any discretionary luxury spending in any given calendar year. If you earn $80,000 after taxes, your maximum luxury budget is $4,000 per year. That's $333 every single month. That sounds modest. But remember, this budget stacks on top of the productive capital rule. You only spend this after your investments are already fully funded first. This sequencing is everything. Most Americans do it completely backwards. They buy luxury first, then try to invest whatever is left over, which is usually nothing at all. There's actually a name for this psychological trap. Behavioral economists call it present bias. Your brain values immediate pleasure far more than future financial security. The average American has less than $1,000 saved for retirement at age 40, yet simultaneously carries over $5,000 in high-interest consumer debt. Think about that. The system is designed to keep you consuming. Credit card companies, luxury brands, and social media platforms all profit directly from your present bias. This is not accidental. Instagram alone generates over $50 billion annually by showing you a curated highlight reel of other people's luxury lifestyles, specifically engineered to trigger your spending impulses. The antidote is brutally simple. Consume financial education content more than you consume luxury lifestyle content. What you repeatedly watch rewires what your brain craves daily. Now let's talk about the one luxury purchase category that nearly every wealthy person agrees is completely worth full price, every single time, without any hesitation whatsoever. It's experiences, not things. Research consistently shows that experiential spending, travel, concerts, fine dining, delivers significantly longer-lasting happiness than purchasing any physical luxury object ever could. Cornell psychologist Thomas Gilovich spent 20 years studying this. His conclusion? People adapt to new possessions within weeks, but great experiences, they cherish and talk about for decades. So the wealthy prioritize experiential luxury first, a first-class flight, a private chef dinner, a 5-star weekend, and only then consider physical luxury items as a secondary category. Now here's something nobody in personal finance ever discusses openly. The psychological cost of luxury debt is far more damaging than any interest rate on paper. Studies show that people carrying high-interest consumer debt for luxury goods experience 40% higher chronic stress levels than those with zero consumer debt balances. That chronic stress affects sleep quality, productivity, relationships, and even physical health. So that designer bag financed at 24% APR is literally costing you your well-being. The wealthy never, ever finance depreciating luxury goods on high-interest credit. They either pay cash from investment returns, or they simply do not buy it at all. There is one exception where wealthy people do use financing for luxury, and it involves a sophisticated strategy called asset-backed lending. Stay with me here. Asset-backed lending means borrowing against assets you already own, like a stock portfolio or real estate, at ultra-low interest rates, typically between 2 and 4% annually. If your portfolio is growing at 10% annually, and you borrow against it at 3%, you net a 7% spread while still enjoying the luxury. This is precisely how Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and other ultra-wealthy individuals fund personal expenditures without selling assets or triggering massive capital gains tax events. Now, you don't need to be a billionaire to use a version of this. A standard securities-backed line of credit is available at most major brokerage firms today. But here's the critical warning with asset-backed lending. If your portfolio drops significantly in value, you face a margin call, and the bank can liquidate your assets fast. Only use asset-backed lending if your borrowed amount stays under 20% of your total portfolio value. Any higher, and the risk becomes genuinely dangerous territory. Let's shift gears now and talk about something most people never consider. The hidden tax advantages buried inside certain luxury asset purchases that can dramatically reduce your bill. Fine art is one of the most powerful examples. In the United States, art donated to a qualified institution allows you to deduct the full fair market value. A wealthy collector buys a painting for $50,000, it appreciates to $200,000, they donate it and deduct the full $200,000 from taxes. That's a strategy where the wealthy essentially enjoy the luxury, grow it, then convert it into a massive tax shield. All while following the law completely to the letter. Luxury real estate works similarly. Through depreciation deductions, mortgage interest write-offs, and the 1031 exchange, savvy investors can own stunning properties while dramatically reducing taxable income simultaneously. The 1031 exchange alone is one of the most powerful wealth-building tools in American tax law. It lets you defer capital gains indefinitely by rolling into new properties. Now let's talk about the luxury trap that claims more middle-class victims than any other single financial mistake in America. It's called lifestyle inflation. And it's silent. Lifestyle inflation happens when every raise, every bonus, every windfall is immediately consumed by upgraded spending, instead of being deployed into wealth-building assets that compound over time. A study by Fidelity Investments found that the number one reason high earners never become wealthy is lifestyle inflation, not low income, not bad luck, not the economy. Doctors earning $300,000 a year, living in million-dollar homes with luxury car payments, often have less net worth than a teacher who invested consistently for decades. The antidote to lifestyle inflation is something called the 50% rule for raises. Every single raise you receive, you split it exactly in half immediately. Half goes directly into investments, untouched and automated. The other half is yours to spend freely on lifestyle upgrades. This way, wealth grows and you still enjoy the rewards. Automation is the secret weapon here. The wealthy don't rely on willpower to invest. They automate transfers the moment income hits their account, before temptation ever arrives. Studies show that people who automate their investments accumulate 47% more wealth over 20 years compared to those who manually decide to invest each month. 47%. Now let's talk about the luxury purchase that virtually every wealthy person agrees is the single most important investment you can ever make in your life. It's investing in yourself. Books, courses, mentorships, masterminds, your own health and mental clarity. These are the luxury purchases that generate the highest lifetime return on investment. Warren Buffett has said repeatedly that the best investment he ever made was a Dale Carnegie public speaking course he took at age 20 for just $100. A $1,000 online course that doubles your income is infinitely more valuable than a $1,000 watch that sits in a drawer depreciating. Never confuse the two. Here's your complete action plan. 1. Apply the 90-day delay rule. 2. Fund investments before any luxury purchase. 3. Only buy luxury that appreciates or delivers deep experiences. 4. Use the pre-owned luxury market to save 30 to 70%. 5. Decouple your self-worth from your possessions completely, and watch your financial anxiety disappear almost instantly. If this framework opened your eyes to how money really works in America, do yourself one favor right now. Hit that subscribe button immediately before this video ends tonight. Every week on this channel, we break down the exact systems the wealthy use to build and protect generational wealth, in plain, simple American English. Always free. And if you want to protect your savings from the hidden financial traps designed to keep average Americans broke, turn on that notification bell right now. The ultimate truth about luxury and wealth is this. The goal was never to look rich. The goal was always to build something real, lasting, and genuinely yours. Every dollar you redirect from impressing strangers toward building assets is a dollar working silently in your favor, compounding, growing, and multiplying while you sleep at night. The wealthy person drives a modest car not because they can't afford better, but because they chose the portfolio over the perception. That is the entire game, right there. You now know what 95% of Americans will never learn. The system, the traps, the framework, and the mindset. The only question left is this. Will you keep spending to look wealthy and stay broke? Or will you start building real wealth quietly, and let the results speak louder than anything you could ever wear?